Hi folks, welcome to week 34 of the Lucy Letby trial. Now, it's the defence's closing speeches this week, so I thought I would update you on what's happened so far. So this is what's happened on Monday the 26th of June and Tuesday the 27th, although the court is still sitting, so it'll be interesting to hear what else they have to say. So I'm doing it in two parts this week. Okay, so remember Letby is on trial for murder and attempted murder for a number of children. So the defence KC is called Ben Myers, and he yesterday set out that it's going to take him probably 5 days in which to deliver his closing speeches. So this is a summary. This is getting the jury to kind of like focus on what's happened in the case. So he said, he was like, the presumption is wrong. They seem to be saying that, you know, Letby is guilty, and remember that Letby doesn't have to prove her innocence. He said in law the presumption is not guilt, the presumption is innocence. So you are innocent until proven guilty, and it's for the prosecution to establish guilt. And he said that, you know, they're painting Letby out to be guilty all the time. She cries in court, she's guilty. She doesn't cry in court, that means she's guilty. She takes notes, guilty. She doesn't take notes, guilty. So it was an interesting kind of thing that he was bringing up. And he said, look, basically there are two options here, people. So number one, the deaths and collapses happened due to the baby's medical conditions and the suboptimal care that they received. Or option two, a dedicated nurse started killing and attacking babies for absolutely no reason. There is no feasible or plausible reason that has been given by the prosecution as to why. Like, why? And it's true, isn't it? I mean, through all of the evidence, other than trying to get a doctor's attention, there's no real like reason, you know, why has she done this? What's her motive behind this? And the KC, you know, mentioned the fact that there had been an increasing number of babies on the unit. Doctors were slow to reveal mistakes because any professional, no professional wants to actually admit that that they're doing anything wrong, that there are any mistakes. And Dr. Evans had confirmed this. Now, Dr. Evans was one of the expert witnesses in court, and they wrote to the police saying that they would be happy to be, you know, part of the case and give evidence in court. And the KC was like, well, Dr. Evans was touting for work. You know, this is the thing, a lot of these experts, they're not part of the actual case. You know, this doctor was not working at the hospital, but the prosecution and the defence have a list of expert witnesses that they can call, basically for their professional and here for their medical opinion. The other things that have been talked about in court today, so Mr. Myers said, look, Facebook searches, 2,318 were made in that time period. So 2,318, only 31 of those were for the parents of the children. So I can't quite do the maths, but I don't know, is that 1.5%? Something like that. I mean, I don't know. Mathematicians, help me out here. But really not very many was his point. It's like 2,318, 31 searches for the parents. He also talked about the handover sheets. He was like, look, the prosecution have made a big deal about these handover sheets. 257 handover sheets in her home were found. Fewer than 10% were for the babies. So again, pointing out the fact that, you know, not very many. He's talked about child A. He said, don't forget, people, that child A had no fluids for 4 hours. Now, for a seriously ill baby in a neonatal care unit, 4 hours is so long to not have any fluids for anyone, let alone a very, very unwell child. And he reminded the jury that the tube was placed in the wrong place. It was too close to the heart. Child B, he said, well, look, there's no evidence as to why child B collapsed. Don't know. Can't explain it. And then he reminded the jury, well, you know, okay, we can't explain it. However, if it's not clear, it has to be a not guilty verdict. Child C, very, very unwell. Child C shouldn't have been in that hospital. Child C should have moved to a greater, like a hospital where they could have received greater kind of targeted care. And, you know, he said that child C received suboptimal care. And then child D, he reminded the jury that child D had pneumonia and was at great risk of of collapse. So it's really interesting hearing the defence's case, and yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew I would kind of hear the prosecution's closing speeches and be like, right, yeah, like I agree with them. And now I'm starting to hear the defense and I'm like, okay, what he's saying, he's reminding me, I'm not sure. And again, this is what we have to go back to. In criminal law, in England and Wales, there is, you have to be sure. Are you sure, given that evidence and what we've heard in court, are you sure that she is guilty of murder and attempted murder? So that's part one, and I will see you at the end of the week. Any comments? Please, please ask. It'd be great to hear your views. What do you think so far of the closing speech of the defence?